Put it on Twitter and everything. We're going
Yeah.
live.
Yeah. Uh, what's going on, everybody? We are doing a live right now. This is me and Gabe GS Strategies, and we are just straight up winging it. We're gonna have some fun. We're gonna talk about the economy. We're gonna talk about stocks. We're gonna talk about crypto. We're gonna talk about real estate. We're gonna talk about Ahmed's sexy hair. Whatever you guys want to talk about, everything's up for grabs.
Let's talk about his
Um,
bricks. Let's talk about his bricks in his office.
what bricks he has?
He
Oh, the
doesn't
back, the
have
back.
bricks. It's
The
wallpaper.
fake. Yo, the funny thing is, I had that shit too at one point. I had the same fucking bricks at one point. It was awesome. It was awesome. Yo, did you have an idea for that light in the back from Graham and Andre?
What light in the back?
They have the
That
circular light. Yeah.
this back there? No. One day I was out to dinner, here in Charlotte, and there's this really fancy light store, and right in the window was that thing that I have, and I just had to have it because I can be a bougie mother effer sometimes. And I paid way too much money for it because it looks cool. It looks like something that would be like out of an airplane, or something like that, like a propeller. I don't know. It looked cool, and I got it, but the light actually fucking sucks. It's not that great. It's not LED or anything, but it looks good
But
in the background.
yeah, it looks good. But you know what I'm talking about, right? How
No
they
idea.
have. So if you're gonna watch Andre or Graham, which to be honest, lately was really hard to watch them. But you know the YouTubers, right?
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know who
yeah,
I'm talking about,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah. I know.
So if you watch them, they have a light, and it looks very similar. That's why I was asking.
Hmm? Did not know that.
Basically, almost like a, a double question mark, left and right, with that little piece in the middle. So it's
Hmm.
really cool if you take a look at it. And I don't know which one of them got it first. I think Graham got it first. Shout out Damien. How you doing, buddy? How you doing, man? Good to see you. Guys, if you don't know, this is Gabe, GS Strategies. I'm going to leave a link to his channel. He's a very technical investor. He loves his charts, Fibonacci's, traces, triangles, all that stuff that I don't know anything about. Yeah, I'm not trolling. I have no idea about it. That's like my introduction to technicals. Fibonacci's, triangles, retracements, right? That I know they belong somewhere in there. I know I had at least that belongs somewhere. That's a real word in technicals.
I'll tell
Those
you
three
what.
things.
I'll tell you what, Adam. My goal is to teach you because technical analysis for investors and traders, like once you go to it, like you won't know how you lived without it anyway. But some people
So
hate it. I don't.
interesting thing enough. So I don't have a Patreon. I used to have it. I canceled my Patreon. I have channel membership right now, and I've been thinking, how do I give value to my channel members? And I charge like $3 a month. I have a free Discord, and I'm like, what do I do to give some love to them? And then I'm like, okay, well, what do I know? I'm like, well, why don't I do a crypto course, like basically a free course, like a long 2 hour course, everything from crypto, from basics and stuff. And I'm like, all right, but I'm going to have guest speakers for certain things. Obviously, everybody wants to have a technical. So I'm like, you know what? I would ask Gabe to do a chapter in the course and teach technicals, the basics of technicals, because you could do it
I
for
wish it was
Bitcoin.
that easy. God, I wish it was that easy to teach technicals. You're like my Jewish brother from another mother, and I don't mind once a week going in there, and we can host a not we you can host a in the voice channel. You can make a voice channel in the Discord, and we go in and I share my screen, and once a week or once a month, we start. You got to start somewhere. You don't just learn technicals because first and foremost, technicals are extremely subjective. Different people lean more on some things other than the other. So there's like a myriad of different ways to do technical analysis, right? I just use what works for me, and I to me it's the best. But other people use different forms. But the good thing about technical analysis is that once you figure out what route you want to go and what you put most weight on, there is a method to the madness. So yeah, man, listen, we can you won't be able to do it in a 2 hour thing, but you can add value by having a hangout like once a week or once a month where you either show people something, talk about something with members, or instruction, or
Maybe
whatever you like.
I'll add a chapter for different things. One of them would be the chapter for the technicals, And maybe as I'm learning it, I could update it and tell people about it to stuff like that. But anyways, I was thinking about doing a course for cryptocurrency because I feel like, bro, I feel like I'm stuck on stupid. I feel like the dumbest crypto YouTubers are the ones that get the most views, who barely know anything, and it's so frustrating to me sometimes. So I'm like, and some of them are charging money for courses and shit like that, and I'm like, yo, let me just give back to my community and do my own course, like from the basics of what it is, the generations, what's the use of it. I don't really want to talk about how to find a good deal, right? Because I don't want to talk about that. But anyways, that's what I was thinking about, like giving back to my community, like for my channel members. Um, it's hard, man. It's hard. Like
That's what she
I
said.
do YouTube. Yeah, that's what she said. I didn't know that there was different type of technicals. So there's a different style. Is there name? Let's start. Let's rewind. Let's rewind. Is there
Mhm.
names to the styles? Like,
No, no, there's not names to the styles. Okay, so you have things like indicators, you have things like signals, you have patterns, right? You have something that the Fibonacci retracement tool, right? You have extended Fibonacci, you have Fibonacci for a bear market, you have Fibonacci for a bull market, right? Then you have trend lines, and the list goes on and on and on, right? You have like regression channels, you have trading channels. There's so many different things. You have one of the things that I use is like the moving averages. Like, I know you've heard this before. Like, there's different moving averages that people use. So there's the 50-day moving average, the
yes,
100-day, the 150, the 200-day moving average, which is like
the king.
the king of moving averages, right? It's like either the extremely hard resistance or the extremely hard resistance or the extremely hard support to break, right? Then you have things like the golden channel inside of the Fibonacci retracement. See, I can do this for like an hour, brother. So there's lots of different things that you use. And I'm not going to sit here and say that some are better than others, because the thing about technical analysis is that, for the most part, in my educated opinion, it's to some degree, especially Fibonacci retracement, right? Is something like it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, because so many people use it, and then they put it into the algorithms to use these levels. They are actually levels that actually are used as support or actual resistance. But then it takes actual buying and selling to either break it or go above it. And there's a lot of different things, man. But yeah, just a lot. There's a lot to it, bro. A lot.
That's cool, man. Like I never knew any of those things. It's always nice to learn something, right? Like I'm definitely not a technical guy. But more specifically, I'm not a technical guy when it comes to crypto, and I have
Mhm.
my reason why. I have my reason in all of crypto, the same reason you have your reason that it's only Bitcoin. You know how you always tell me I can only do Bitcoin?
I-
Not that you can't. I it only makes sense with Bitcoin. Let me rephrase.
for me,
Right.
yeah, I'm not a crypto guy. Yeah. Mhm.
Right. So the same thing that you're saying, I think, and you might kill me for this, that for crypto, specifically for crypto, technical analysis is horseshit that somebody took from stocks and said, "Oh, this is going to work for crypto."
Nope. And I
I
can
think
prove
it's
that to
horseshit.
you. I can prove that to you. So, for right now, for the most part, crypto, after it made its big run, like, there are pockets where you're right, the technical analysis doesn't really correlate with what should have happened, right? But
Okay.
after the big moves are made, Bitcoin, I'm only talking about Bitcoin. Bitcoin seems to follow the S&P 500, just in a more volatile way. So what do I mean by that?
Okay.
If the S&P 500, which over the past 94 years, the average compounded rate of return is right about 10%, right? When you include dividends and stuff. When in one day, the S&P 500 goes down 2% or up 2%, uh, Bitcoin Bitcoin will move like 10%, 15%, 18%, right? In that direction. So if the market goes down, the S&P goes down. But
Okay.
you know, conversely, if the market goes up, the if the S&P goes up, then Bitcoin goes up just more. It's like a like what you love to dabble in are
Altcoins.
these leveraged ETFs. No, you know how leveraged ETFs, like they're two
Yes,
x or
yes,
three
yes,
x,
yes, yes, yes,
right?
yes, yes.
That Bitcoin is kind of like that, and it goes in the same direction as the S&P for the most part. Now, when you have the FTX scandal, then Bitcoin is being affected more than the S&P would, and things of that nature. But like today, right? Today is a good example. Today in the pre-market, not in the pre-market, but at the open, Bitcoin, the market is going down, Bitcoin is going down. Then the market hit a reversal, a pivot point, and went up, right? And what did Bitcoin do? It also went up. So it's from what I know about Bitcoin, and I am far from an expert. I don't even consider myself a flippin' novice on crypto. Um, Bitcoin is was invented to be something that doesn't follow or succumb to fiat currency, and I believe that's a good theory and thesis, and eventually may be the case. So because you and I are both fans of Palantir, here's how I like to look at Bitcoin. Maybe one day it will be separate from the market. I'm not going to sit here and say it's not going to be, but just like Palantir, I believe one day Palantir would be inverse the market, because I believe we're going to have a bear market for a while, but one day Palantir, because of what it does, will actually be going up while the market is going down. Because right now, for the most part, stocks like Palantir or crypto like Bitcoin is basically correlated to the market more or less, just in a more volatile manner.
So
And yeah, so
I want. So I agree with you, guys. By the way, if you guys have questions or want to talk, we're completely freestyling this. This like out of nowhere. We're just talking, two dudes talking. You guys have questions? Feel free to ask. Stocks, crypto, real estate, economy. Everything's on the table. And Ahmed's here, but only if you guys give it a compliment. Um,
we are talking about the economy, right, bro?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, for sure. I'm just filling people in because and if you guys don't know, Gabe has a channel, GS Strategies. He also has a academy with Tom Nash and the Tom Nash Discord. If you guys know Tom Nash, smart dude, really cool to talk about, knowledgeable. So that's where we are. So it's interesting what you were saying about um, Bitcoin and the market. So I have such a theory about this. So the whole and a lot of people like laugh at crypto. It's supposed to be a hedge against inflation. So for the longest time, it acted against the market. Believe it or not, it didn't go with the market.
Yeah, long time ago.
Markets
I
up,
agree.
right?
Yeah.
And the greed infiltrated crypto. When you have all these institutional investors, that's what happened. Because who's the institutional investors? Wall
The
Street,
market.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, sure, sure.
Hmm.
And now it trades. So before it did not trade on technicals, and now it is because the same people that are trading the stocks that give you the technicals essentially, or I might be explaining it wrong, but you get what I'm trying to say, right?
I
Like,
do hear what you're saying, and the slight. So I will be completely honest. Like I did not follow crypto when it wasn't popular, right? Because I'm a stocks guy, and as you alluded to, as crypto, primarily Bitcoin, got more popular and did its parabolic rise, then the world started to notice. And now even big names like Robert Kiyosaki, which I have actually met in person, and Robert
nice,
Kiyosaki is extremely bullish on on Bitcoin, like primarily Bitcoin, not crypto,
sure.
but Bitcoin. And I think you hit it right on the head. Like once it made its rise, especially during the quantitative easing of the post-COVID era, where we had, 45% of all dollars ever created in existence created in within a year and a half, right? That's a crazy amount of dollars.
Crazy.
And quantitative easing, well, a lot of those dollars were going into Bitcoin, both institutionally and retail, people like you and me. and the people watching, and that time frame, it's like really as of late, is what I mean by it's correlated to the market. The market's going up, Bitcoin's going up. Like it is
Totally
not,
agree.
yeah, it is not a coincidence, Adam, that the bull market literally stopped on the last day of or the actually the first or second day of 2022, but like pretty much ended on the
Yeah,
last,
December. Yeah,
yeah,
like
on
right, like December 15th or
January
like
3rd.
yeah,
To
yeah,
be to be like factual,
yeah.
January 3rd was the top of the S&P 500, and then it was a bear market from then on. So it's not a coincidence that if you look at a crypto chart and S&P 500 chart, that crypto has been in a bear market. Now, albeit the moves have been more volatile and more violent or more giving depending on when you bought and when you sold, but the direction is similar.
Agreed. And
Mhm.
and like Palantir, it trades at a beta, right? For anybody that doesn't know what beta means it's against the market one way or the other. If the market moves one, for example, a beta will be one and a quarter, a two, a five, or vice versa. That's all it means. It's more violent and volatile, as Gabe said, one way or the other. And that's what's happening with Palantir. On a good day, Palantir is really good. On a bad day, Palantir is really shit. With the crypto, and then we'll talk about anything else. I just wanted to mention one thing. The reason crypto was invented was because of the bank crash. And now you have another bank crashes. And all of a sudden, Bitcoin, and I've been saying this for a while, it's not just for today. If you guys been following my channel, my crypto bros know. I've been saying this for around 2 or 3 weeks. I've been noticing that Bitcoin has and crypto has in general been breaking off from the market a little bit. I've noticed it and I keep saying it. And I've noticed it today too. It would be crazy if Bitcoin depegs the Nasdaq again and then it really takes off because this is what it was invented for. I hope it could. Now, let's now go to the next segment of the economy, talking about the banks. So with the banks of what's happening right now, for anybody that didn't know, there's three main banks that handled cryptocurrency. There was Silvergate Bank, which collapsed, Signature Bank, and I believe Mellon of New York or Metropolitan New York Bank is a third one. And when I say they deal with crypto, they had a 24-hour, 24/7 instant conversion from any fiat to any crypto instantly. So when you convert in Coinbase or any other central exchange, you're converting with them, but the central exchange has a bigger central exchange called the bank. And they're the ones that made a very specific use case for the crypto. Who knows what's going to happen next? But yeah, that's our segue for the what the heck is happening today. What's your take on everything, man?
So, my take on the economy as a whole, putting crypto aside, is that I believe stagflation is imminent, Adam. I believe there is no possibility for a soft landing anymore, let alone no landing, which was the biggest BS I ever heard. Like talk about giving people wishful thinking. Um, you know, when you look back in history, if you use history as a guide, because sometimes that's all you can do is use history as a guide, there has been no recession that had a soft landing. All of a sudden, because this time is different, we're going to have a soft landing. Like, I'm not trying to turn this political, but now we're coming out with leaks to the Wall Street Journal that COVID is now man made,
Oh
you
wow, I
know?
didn't even see that.
Oh yeah, look it up. Yeah, there was this is like a couple weeks old at least. And now everybody wants Fauci's head on a stake. You know, all these things, especially the COVID, there's no easy way to put it. COVID is the reason that our stagflation or the upcoming recession is going to be so bad because, as you know, Adam, recessions are natural. They have to happen on average around every decade, right? And the reason for them is it brings it brings things back into some kind of a norm, because human nature always makes stocks especially go up too much, and then recessions, for an easy way of putting it, are bringing stocks down too much. So then everything gets back to a normal valuation, And if the Fed does its job, which, believe it or not, is not a government entity, then everything gets back to normal. Only problem is, and there's a great documentary on Netflix about this. I can't remember the name of it, but it's about all the Federal Reserve um, presidents. Uh, Sometimes you have Fed presidents that aren't right for the job. Like, for example, let's talk about Volcker. Volcker in the 80s, everyone knows Volcker as of late. Volcker in the 80s took the Fed rate as high as it needed to go in order to attack inflation and kill it, because that's the only way that you can kill inflation. The only way to kill inflation is by not making it easy for companies to borrow money and grow. Because if companies borrow money and grow, then they have to hire people. If they have to hire people, people have jobs. If people have jobs, they spend money. If people spend money, things get more expensive. Now, how do you kill inflation? You kill inflation by doing the exact antithesis of that. You have to, no one likes to hear this, but you have to kill jobs. You have to kill buying power. You have to. If people don't have buying power, then inflation will systematically go down. It's the only way to kill it. So that's what we're trying to do now. But now, back on the economy, we have this conundrum that we're in, where now we have we have banks failing. Okay, we have banks failing, and as of last month, we have proof of non-disinflation. Right? We have proof that disinflation is not a thing. That inflation is rearing its ugly head again. Tomorrow we get CPI, Adam. So I'm glad we're doing this right before we get CPI. If CPI tomorrow comes in hot, now the Fed is, in my opinion, the Fed is darned if they do and darned if they don't,
Oh yeah.
right? If the Fed raises to 50 basis points, right? Because they have to kill inflation. They are now just making the liquidity battle of the banks harder. They're making their jobs harder, so they're adding fuel to the fire of the liquidity problems that these banks have, and people might start panicking like they have already, and then that might seep over to the big banks, the large banks like JPM, Wells Fargo, Bank of America, etc. And if people start doing bank runs on a large level, then we're really getting to get in trouble. So, what is Jerome Powell going to do on the 21st or the 20th, right? Is he going to raise rates, or is he going to pause? Is he going to do an emergency pause? Like, let's say tomorrow we have high CPI. So now we have proof of inflation rearing its ugly head again, plus we have this bank issue. What is Jerome Powell, what is the Fed going to do on the 20th? Are they going to raise rates and tank the market even more? And or are they going to pause it, give the market a very, very temporary massive bull run? I'm going to call it a dead cat bounce, and then just basically screw over retail, because I promise you, and I can prove this, institutions are selling all of the rips. They are not buying the rips, Adam. Institutions are getting out of the market on every single rip as much as they can. They are de-risking their portfolios, and it's retail that's left holding the bag. So, you know, I'm just excited to find out what's going on, because it's going to be interesting to see how history is going to write itself going forward.
I'll add to that. So I agree with everything that you're saying. It's so crazy. A month ago, it was like 95% chance it was going to be 25 basis points. Then it went up to like 50%, 50 basis points, right?
No,
And maybe
75,
75.
75,
Crazy.
just the other day. Yeah.
Bro, right now, 28%, no rate hike.
Right.
71%, 25 basis points.
0%,
That's it.
50. Yeah.
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 It's so bizarre. So I agree with you that they're between a rock and a hard place, and that rock and a hard place is getting just like this. If they raise rates, they're gonna tank the banks, because for anybody that doesn't know what's happening right now, like anybody in the audience, how did all these bank runs start happening? People ask for money. The banks only keep around 12% reserve. I have music playing. If it bothers you, just let me know. The banks have around 12% reserves that are held at the banks, plus or minus. And when people come to ask for their money, they only have a certain amount. If they
Fractional
want to,
banking.
yeah, if fractional reserve banking, that's what it's called. And if people need the money, they have to sell assets. The way the banks work is they have deposits, they have excess deposits, they go to the Federal Reserve, they buy treasury bonds from them. That's how it works. The Federal Reserve owed Silicon Valley Bank around 1.9% on their bonds, and their bonds was worth like 22 billion. If they have to sell, the problem is the bonds are worth less than the open market will give you because right now people can get 5% on the same bonds. So instead of people giving you $100 and $100 value bond, they'll be like, we'll give you $70 or we'll give you $50 or $90 because the interest that we're going to get is less than what we can get right now. The Federal Reserve can't keep raising interest rates, but they have to keep raising interest rates because inflation is becoming runaway. The only thing that's going to save, like Jerome Powell is going to be sitting there. This is Jerome Powell. He's going to be clenching his butthole tomorrow, waiting for the CPI data to come out. If the CPI data is going to come out hotter, so we're expecting 6%. If it's going to come out 6.1, 6.2, 6.3, but if we get lucky or he gets lucky and it comes out like 5.9,
It won't.
5.8, let's just play hypothetical. I don't think it will either, but then again, I didn't think it was going to go up either. I thought it was starting to get under control. But let's just say hypothetical. That should cause a strong rally, especially if the next day PPI, same thing. And then it's going to be a run till the FOMC. They're going to be raising rates 0% because now they have no reason to raise it higher. And that's going to give us a massive rip, run, dead cat bounce until at least the next FOMC meeting. I was talking to my guys like to my YouTube and everything like that if there's a huge rip coming, like I said, if the market does a quick rally of, I said 50%, but honestly, if it rallies like 30% or something like that, which could possibly happen
The
if
market or Bitcoin.
the market in general,
Thirty
the market.
percent. Come on, that's
Not 30. Okay, not 30, not 30, not 30. But if it recovers a very reasonable amount, let's just leave it at that, a reasonable amount. Because when it actually happens, it's different than what you're thinking in your head, right? When you
okay.
actually see it. I would sell out of a lot of my positions. I would keep Palantir because I think Palantir is going to do good. They're one big contract away from going to the moon, right? Or rallying. That not moon, rallying. Um, but yeah, I would take some profits off because I actually did make some good calls during this run up. I started a public portfolio. My public portfolio is like plus or minus, very close to even. I started it like a year ago, so yeah, man. And then buy when it goes down because I can't see this being sustained. I'm with you. Like I cannot see it, and I know people laugh when we say that. I know people were laughing when you say it too. I hear you. I can't see this rally lasting. It's
It
just
it
inflation's through the roof.
it definitely won't. Listen, this bank epidemic that we're going through, um, this bank epidemic that we're going through, I'm calling it the first large domino to finally fall. Like this is the precipice of what to expect in the next year or two. Like I'm not trying to be the drama bear or anything, but this is reality, everyone. I sincerely, in all my experience and all my years of studying this shit, like literally, this is all I think about all of the time. If you study history, you'll see that only perma bulls or people who are delusional feed in to what's being fed to them. Now, I think you hit it right on the head. I think there will be a dead cat bounce. Furthermore, and now you might think I'm a little bit crazy, but if we hit 5.8 or 5.9 after the readings of last month, the only way that we can do that is if it's cooked, Adam. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say it. The only way that it can happen is if it's cooked. And the government, who controls all the information and controls the agenda, very well can cook it because there is a lot of things going on behind the scenes that people don't even know or understand, right? So I'm not saying that it can't, but what I am saying is that it probably won't hit 5.8. probably won't hit 5.9. If they are telling us that 6.0 is expected, I think the cooked rate will be 6.0, maybe 6.1. 6.2 is a horrible reading, but that will still give some kind of a push to the markets. 6.3 and 6.4 will bury the markets. And then the last fork in it will be a 50 basis points, which now I don't think we get. So I think the crash or the rug pull will be postponed because of the timing of the bank failures. But make no bones about it, the bank failures are coming. So I would like to do two things. Can I share my screen, Adam? I
Yeah.
wanna I wanna show you technical analysis on Bitcoin. With the it's gonna be the one that I put on your Discord like 2 weeks ago, right? Where so can I share it? I'm gonna go ahead and
Yeah.
present. All right.
Are you presenting from your end?
Yeah, here I go. Yeah,
All
presenting.
right.
Okay, so this is the Bitcoin. I'm gonna try to show you guys really quick technical analysis. Okay, so this blue wedge pattern, I'll call it. This is what's called a falling wedge. This is just one layer of technical analysis. I'll go through a couple so you can understand all of these lines. Okay, this red line right here is the 200-day moving average. This light red is the 150, and this blue is the 50. So I'll tell you why this blue and this light red are so important in a minute. Okay, so the big move, let me make this bigger for you guys. The big move is this wedge. This is a falling wedge. Falling wedges are actually bullish because they fall for a certain amount of time. And when I made this falling wedge, this has not been broken out of. But look what happened. This I did this for this. The proof is in
Yeah,
the
yeah,
pudding,
yeah.
Eric. This is on your Discord. It broke out of the falling wedge to the upside. So this falling wedge has been proven to be correct because
So the
now,
falling wedge, I'm sorry, let me
yeah,
ask, I'll ask questions because I'm
okay,
sure everyone's gonna know. So the falling wedge is the blue triangle.
correct. Blue
So
triangle.
that's the containment. And if you break the containment, that's when you start getting a reading of up or down.
No, no, so a falling wedge, generally, not always, a falling wedge means a breakout to the upside is more probable. And the reason for that is because the price action has been contained for so long and trading in a channel and like condensing with just like if you hold anything under pressure, once you put too much pressure on it, it bursts up, right? So that's what the price action of Bitcoin has been telling us. And as soon as and it's not an exact science, right? So you're not going to like here when it broke out, going to go straight up, but it is going up for the most part. To
Yeah, he
see,
was right.
to
The
see,
price right now is 24,400, and you had it at
to see,
20.
it's gone up 36% from the breakout. From this breakout, now yes, there was a very big red candle, but what matters is the play over a certain amount of time. Over a certain amount of time, and this can break down and go lower, it did break out to the upside from when it broke out of this triangle. So we're 1 for 1. Okay, we're 1 for 1. If you bought Bitcoin when I said this is bullish, so buying now would be good, and especially because this right here, which is one of my favorite signals, this is called relative strength index, RSI. When the relative,
That's what Amit loves, right?
yeah, I taught him it that. Yes, it's one of my favorite. So when the RSI is near 30 or definitely below 30, which it wasn't until here. I think on your channel I started when it was like around here. So I had an RSI around 36, which under 39 is also close to oversold. So I said you know if you're gonna start buying, you should because upside is more probable. Okay, so we learned that in this blue triangle, this price action was coiling in, and to the upside was more probable. It's not 100%, but the probability is to the upside because the risk is to the downside. The reason the risk is to the downside is because it's already near oversold levels. When something is sold too much, it's more likely going to go up. And when something is bought too much and overbought, like over here, when it's overbought, it's most likely that the price goes down. So if we go into history, if you go into history over here on this day, right, which is not exact science, on this day it had the highest RSI in year. But look, the price, it was still it was at it had an RSI of 95. Holy macaroni, that's high. And then the next day, the next 2 days to be exact, the next 2 days it went down. How much did it go down? Let's see. On its peak RSI to its lowest level, it went down 31%. You see, you'll never see these numbers in the S&P 500. Only in Bitcoin do you see this volatility, right? So it doesn't look like a big deal, but these moves are huge. Okay, but then the RSI, the relative strength index, started to cool off and go lower. Now, okay, I'm not going to tell you that because that's just going to confuse you. But basically, as the RSI went lower, the
Guys,
price.
don't pay attention to his pointer. By the way, pay attention to the hairline, the dotted lines.
Yeah, not the pointer. Sorry.
Yeah.
Pay attention to the crosshairs.
Yes.
Um, as the RSI, you see right here, the RSI is coming down. Then the price action followed, and then to fast forward to today, once we got to extremely oversold, when you had an RSI, and this is on the weekly. I'm not even looking at the daily. I'm looking at the weeklies to give you guys like a more macro view. But these are, every candle represents a week. And as you can see, when on the weekly we got extremely oversold, we got a bounce. But anyway, back to what everything means. So this yellow line, after a certain point, after about right here to be exact, I notice that Bitcoin trades in a channel. So between this yellow line and this blue line, this right here is called a trading channel, but it's still within the falling wedge. So this trading channel is where Bitcoin has been traveling and condensing for a long time. But then when we get down here, the falling wedge and the channel start to meet. So then it only has, according to charting, the probability of going sideways, like little moves, or down a little bit, to eventually explode up to the upside. Now, this last thing, which is, you're gonna giggle as soon as I say it, right here, these white lines, these are called Fibonacci retracement levels. So, then you're gonna laugh. So
Because I don't know
Fibonacci.
what that really is. This is the first time I've actually, this is the first time I'm hearing an actual explanation. So
Right.
I'm
So
happy.
so Fibonacci was a very smart mathematician, and he said that basically moves, big points in market moves, whether it be resistance or support, happened at these percentages of the move. So the 23.6, the 38.2, the 50, the 61.8, the 78.6. Now, the reason that it's subjective, my friend, I'm going to delete this and then I'm going to put it back so you guys can understand where I'm going with it. So in order to use the Fibonacci retracement tool, you have to select a swing high and a swing low. If you're in a bear market, you start with the swing high and you finish with the swing low. If you're in a bull market, you start with the swing low and you go to swing high. So we're in a bear market, right? So I'm going to click the Fibonacci retracement tool and I'm going to start with the swing high. So the swing high is right here, which we all know was almost 69,000, right? Okay. And then the swing low of this move is the lowest most point of the chart. And that today would be right there. Okay. So now we've charted the swing high and the swing low, the most recent swing high and swing low. So these are the Fibonacci retracement levels. Now, what I think is going to happen is the first the first big resistance is going to be this 200-day moving average, because Adam, once a moving average is broken, it becomes resistance. So a moving average becomes support until it's broken, and then it becomes resistance, or I should say,
I understand.
it becomes the floor, and
The
it's
ceiling becomes the floor,
yes,
right?
exactly. So once this resistance, which is the 200-day moving average, is broken, the next big resistance will be this Fibonacci level of 23.6. That happens to be around 28,000. So look for Bitcoin to either fail or consolidate around this level, and then it will either get rejected and come back down, or it'll break it, right, depending what's going on in the macro, and go above it. And then the next big one, and that's not even counting the moving averages, will be this 38.2. But that's going to be in a long time, because that's at a 35,900 level. So anyway, I could talk for hours about this, but
I
I just wanted
I
to, I
get it.
won't, yeah, I won't do that. I just want
I
to
understand
show,
what you meant now, that it
yeah,
was too much information.
it's too
Very
much.
cool stuff. It's
Yeah.
very, very interesting, actually. Like, honestly, that was the first time that I actually heard somebody speak that made sense. I wanted to listen to you. That's why it made sense. Uh, Listen, a lot of people talk all this shit, and the only reason it makes sense is because people don't know what the hell they're talking about. So everything sounds great when you do that, right?
Right.
So this was awesome. This was really, really cool. Um, do you want to take some questions from the audience,
Yeah, of
maybe? See
course.
what people are
Yeah.
thinking? Guys, what's up, everybody? So this is Gabe, GS Strategies. Some of you guys know him, some of you guys don't know him. He's part of the Discord. By the way, we have a free Discord down below. If you want, join the Discord. I'll give you guys a link if you want. And we're just talking about the economy, stocks, crypto, real estate, whatever you guys want to talk about. Do you guys have any questions you guys want to ask? Feel free. Um, yeah, man, we don't really have much planned. We spoke a little bit about what's happening with the economy. Gabe gave us a really good lesson about technicals, and all you crypto technicals can suck it, because now I have a technical person too. All right. What do we think will happen with Voyager? Uh, Voyager is going to be bought by Binance. They got vetoed in the beginning, then they got approved, if I'm not mistaken, and now the person that vetoed them is trying to veto the approval of the judge. And they will settle up people's accounts on pennies on the dollar. I don't know what the amount is. Off the top of my head, I think it's like 60 or 70 cents, but don't quote me on that at all. What happens to the stock of Voyager Digital? I honestly have no idea. I bought it and I'm waiting. But yeah, if you have money on Voyager Digital, you're going to get taken care of at some point. First time learning the ins and outs of technicals was fast. Yeah, right? It was pretty cool. I'm not going to lie. I'm not a technical dude. I really don't really like this shit. But I'll be honest, I liked it right now. I'm not, listen, I'm a very honest person. That was pretty cool because I started at least understanding the basics of it, like what it means. And then you learn from here. I also, again, I'm going to say that I understand what you meant. You can't just teach it in even 2 hours. I get it.
Yeah,
I get
it's
it.
a lot, man. It took me years.
Yeah.
Because you'll always learn. Like, day trading is another animal. Like, so there's something called VWAP, right? VWAP stands for volume weighted adjusted price, right? So the VWAP is a beautiful day trading tool. You can't use it for really swing trading, but for day trading, it's really great because it shows you the different levels of volume weighted. So it has all these levels, and as long as things stay above these levels, you can buy and then sell up here. But then when it breaks a certain level, you know how to sell or short it. Anyway, technicals, I'm telling you guys, technicals are a real deal. Hedge funds and on every, like, technicals are used. They're it's not like the horoscope or anything.
Okay.
They're
If you
actually.
guys want more technicals, Gabe does technicals in the Discord. He does it literally, bro. The guy comes up with it and he set it up because somebody asked for it. We appreciate it. Join the Discord. But other than that, we're gonna try to do this once a week. We'll probably end up doing it the next Wednesday, next Monday again. We got to talk about it. We This is working out really well. We like talking about stuff. So make sure you join the show. We're not sure if we're gonna make a new channel. We're not sure. We have no freaking clue about anything. So just stay tuned for a week. Yeah. What will happen to Voyager's stockholders? I'm honestly not sure, Michael. I'm with you. I also got stock. I don't know. I guess it depends if they're still going to be traded or not. However, if Binance is taking over them, I could imagine that they're going to be dissolved and we are totally screwed. That's what I would see. Thank you, Gabe. Yeah, thank you, Gabe. For sure, for sure. Had 112,000 H bar on there. I'm heartbroken. 100. So H bar, Gabe, for you was an altcoin. It's a different type of cryptocurrency. He had it on Voyager. A lot of people got clipped. Unfortunately, what's happening similar to banks is what happened to a lot of crypto exchanges, which we'll call crypto banks as well, except they never got a bailout, which really sucks.
Yeah, it's a wild, wild west. Yeah, I saw that coming. Like, listen, Adam. As you know, I will never make a crypto video. I will I will never I will talk about it only with you on your channels, but crypto is not my thing. I will never put any money into it. I'm the kind of guy that likes to intertwine fundamental analysis with technical analysis to make an educated decision, right? And I'm not bashing crypto because then I'll be booed off stage, right? But what I am saying is that right now it's the wild, wild west. You know,
We
right,
agree
right,
with you.
right now they're
But
figuring it out. So
what's the saddest part about this? Traditional finance is still the wild, wild west, and we see it right before our eyes, except they got a bailout. That's a fact. And people make fun of crypto, but very similar things is happening in traditional finance. And the thing that what bothers me, I do a distinction. Most people don't, but there's a huge distinction between the technology, pure crypto, and what we have right now, which is a diluted, dissolved version of it, capitalistic greed, the same greed that crypto was made to protect people from, is now infiltrated crypto, which we spoke about in the beginning of the show. And it's sad. But yeah, shout out to you, man. I'm sorry you lost 112,000 H bar, man. We feel bad for you, and it sucks. There's nothing we're gonna really say. But you should get some of your crypto back if Binance is gonna go through with this. Guys, CPI, yes, CPI, guys, CPI is consumer price index. It's a lagging indicator. This is the inflation you pay as a retailer. PPI is the producer price index, and that's the wholesalers' inflation, which some people say is a precursor to the next CPI. So the last PPI was a precursor to this CPI, so on and so forth. I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm
no,
saying
it
some
is.
people would say that.
The producer always passes on. If the producer pays high, they're not going to generally, except for shout out to Costco, which their hot dogs are still 150. But generally, they're going to pass on the cost to the consumer generally, right? So that's a true statement, in my opinion. PPI is the precipice of the upcoming CPI. That's why if they ever come inverse, it's fixed.
Fair enough. That makes sense. I don't think it ever did come inverse. I think you're right. At that point. But yes, I just didn't want to make that statement. I also believe that it's for the record. I also believe it is a precursor to the CPI. I just didn't want to make a blanket statement like that. But I also believe that it is.
Making blanket statements. I'm wrong all the time. I love it.
At what price are you going to take profits for Algorand in the next bull run? So, Gabe, interesting enough, since you like mathematics and Fibonacci, there's a guy called Silvio McCallie. Silvio McCallie is the highest ranking mathematician specifically in encryption and cryptology, not dead people, but like encryption. He won something called a Turing Award, which is the equivalent to a Nobel Peace Prize in computer science. He also won a second award, which is something with a G. He's basically Einstein of modern day. And he was so tired of what's happening with crypto because all crypto is based on his mathematical formulas. At a minimum, 6 formulas he either completely created or highly contributed to the research team. And he was the only one who was named in the Bitcoin white paper. And he said, F this, I'm going to make my own blockchain because I don't like the way people are using my mathematical proofs. I could do a better job. I'm only mentioning this because you like all of the technicals with mathematicians. And this guy, Silvio McCallie, most people have no idea that they know who he is. They don't realize he actually made a blockchain based on pure math. He's a genius. Anyways, so he created this Algorand. That's I just wanted to give you some precursor. At what price are you going to take profits for Algorand next bull run? I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know. The reason I don't know is because I have a son, I have a daughter on the way. If you guys know my story, I love my family and everything I do right now, every single breath I take, my whole life changed. I used to be a completely different person, is for my family. So it all depends on my position, my real estate, my investments, and what I need for my family or not. Like I'm literally becoming religious for my kids. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do nothing for my kids. So I can't answer that. It all depends on my situation. I hope that was an honest answer for you, though.
I'd like to say something.
Yeah.
So let me explain to you and everyone listening why I really don't like crypto.
Gabe was philosophy. Yeah, Gabe was thinking about it for 10 minutes, and he's like, "All right, let me tell you guys." Go
Well,
ahead, go
I
ahead.
mean, I want to be as transparent as possible, and who better to hear this from someone who has no stake in it,
Yeah,
nothing to gain or lose. So there's two types of people, and this thought basis, I would say the same thing for people who are into stocks. You have investors and you have traders. Okay, when you invest, you have your investing hat on, you have your investing suit on, you have your investing head on your shoulders, and hopefully you are investing in a company, if it's stocks, that you believe in, that has good fundamentals, like price to book, like their sales are increasing year over year, they
yeah,
have good leadership, they have good earnings per share, their earnings per share is going up year after year. You look at all these fundamentals, and 1 plus 1 equals 2. You say, okay, in 5 to 10 years, this stock will be at a higher price. And I need to invest here because I believe in the company and I believe that in 5 to 10 years, this is going up. A lot of people don't want to do that. So what do? They invest in the S&P 500, which is the top 500 stocks on the New York Stock Exchange, or they invest in the NASDAQ 100, which are the top, well, it's a little bit less than 100, but you get the gist, technology stocks on the New York Stock Exchange, right?
yep,
And that over time is the no fail approach, because over time, as an investor, if you are invested in either index, it might be 1 year, it might be 5 years, it might be 10 years, but over time you will make money on your investment. And then you have the trader, right? The trader doesn't give a fudge about what's going to happen in 1 year, 5 years, or 10. The trader cares what's happening now and how can they make the most money in the shortest amount of time. You with me so far?
yeah,
So the problem is that our fellow brothers and sisters, also known as retail investors, which I'm not making this up, the stock market world refers to all of us as dumb money, just so you know. There's smart money, which is institutions, and then there's dumb money, which is retail investors. Dumb money has the mindset, or at least the inclination, that they want to be investors, but they have the patience of a trader. So what dumb money ends up doing is buying high and selling low because they look at it every day, and they don't want to wait. So the reason I hate crypto specifically, specifically those altcoins, et cetera, is, other than complete conjecture, it is impossible to do fundamental analysis because it is not a company. It does not have a price to book, a price to sales, a EPS, a management team, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And therefore, if you are investing, you are investing on hearsay or conjecture or your best known information. And if you're a trader, then you're trading on something. And the reality is that most retail, as far as crypto is concerned, are turned into sheep because there are people who don't know shit, like you always say, talking about something, hyping it up, getting them to buy. But Adam, what is the fucking hardest thing to do in the market of any kind, whether it's stocks or crypto? The hardest thing to do, Adam, is to sell. That is the hardest thing to do. People don't fucking know when to do it. And then next thing you know, it's going lower and lower and lower. And then your mind goes, okay, I was going to make a quick buck to, okay, it'll get better soon. Okay, it'll turn around. Okay, now I just might as well hold it because there's no point in selling. And you're holding the proverbial bag for a very long time. And then if it ever does go on a run, you're quick to sell it right when you get even because you're just ecstatic you broke even. So
So
so why I hate crypto, I'll close this off because I know I can go on monologues. Why I hate crypto is because there is no, unless you're a trader who values technical analysis and you know how to do it, or if you're someone who really believes in a Bitcoin or Ethereum or what have you, there's really no fundamental basis to back it up. And that's why I despise it, mainly because it has negatively affected so many people that I know. So many people that I know, they were up at some point. They just say, oh, it's going to the moon. Stonks only go up. Crypto only goes up. I'm going to hold forever. They don't have a stop loss. They don't have a trailing stop loss. They have no fucking idea when to sell. And then now they're stuck holding a bag. And that's why I hate crypto.
fair enough. Let me play the other side. Everything you just said about the stop loss and everything, the second part of your statement, not before that, and how people were up and they lost money, you can interchange crypto with stocks, period. Because you could stop loss crypto just like you could stop loss stocks. And if you don't know how to stop loss stocks, you don't know how to do crypto and vice versa. And that point of it only goes up, I don't know when to sell, again, interchangeable. So the second part, I agree with you. At the same time, it's interchangeable. Correct?
I mean, as far as stop loss, yes, it's interchangeable. But in stocks, you have fundamental reasons to sell, right? In crypto, the only reason you know to sell is because it's going down. That so I mean, but I'm not gonna. Yeah, I get
So
what you're
I'll
saying.
no no I'll go. That's the second part. Now I'm gonna go to the first part, which is gonna address this. It's hard for you to get it, and I understand why, because of the way you are with technicals, and everything's based on something. You know, you can't have C without A and B. I get it, right? I get it. I get it. And a lot of people in crypto don't understand that. I'm kind of somewhere in between, so I kind of know both worlds and in the real estate, which I don't know how my channel doesn't have 100,000 subscribers. To be quite honest with you, it's frustrating. In any case, um, the fundamental value of cryptocurrency is the ability for adaptation. I'll explain to you what it just means. You have a blockchain, which is the technology. We all understand that. Essentially, very simple. You have data. You put it on the blockchain. That data is now immutable. That's the in the plain sense of the word. It's immutable. You can't. You know how you said you can fudge the CPI numbers. You cannot fudge CPI numbers if you're using a blockchain. That's a fact. 100% done. That's the value. Now, in order to actually bring value to the technology, the actual technology, you need to have somebody using the technology. And because there's a finite amount, which you understand with gold has around a 5% inflation rate per year. So you know, doing your math, this is how much the value is going to be, minus the 5%, however you do your technicals on that. Because most cryptos have a finite amount and a schedule of how much they're releasing, you also know, okay, well, this is the devaluation of it up until this point. And now, as long as somebody is using your blockchain, your crypto for the technology you built it for, there goes the value of the cryptocurrency,
Hmm.
which is the fun tokens of the blockchain. Right? You're going to Funtime USA. I don't know what you have by your hood, but you want to play games. You need fun tickets, right? Cryptocurrency is the fun tickets to get on the rides of the actual blockchain. And if you can make your ride really cool, there's a lot of people waiting in line. And the more people waiting in line, the more the ticket is worth. But if nobody's waiting in line, your tickets are worth less. In a very basic sense that probably nobody has ever explained like this, and I'm not trying to win you over, I'm just trying to explain it to people
Hmm.
also in the crowd. That is the inherent value of the cryptocurrency. Now, forget about all of these token plays like Shiba Inu and all of those, because those are literally, it's a crypto.
Unlimited tokens.
I won't go into really deep, just really fast. Bitcoin was a generation one blockchain, and all you're doing is sending information. This is information from point A to point B on this immutable ledger. And that information is data, and we call this data Bitcoin, cryptocurrency. That's it. But it's cryptocurrency is just data. Then you have Ethereum, which is a generation two blockchain. And Ethereum comes out like 2015. And Ethereum allows you to build on top of the blockchain and not only send information, but do cool things in the form of smart contracts. And a smart contract is just an agreement to do something.
Yeah,
For
like buy
example,
a
if
house,
I,
sell a house. I get
yeah,
it. Yeah.
but in a very basic term, I give you this, and if you receive this, automatically the smart contract will give me this. That's it, and there's no you have no choice. And now it goes to generation three blockchains. Right now, what we have. So if you can build something that's usable, there's value. For example, the H bar that the gentleman was talking about before, they have a governing council members, and one of the governing council members is a Google, another one is a Boeing, for example, T-Mobile, LG. These people are the ones sitting, and each one has a specific vote. In any case, they have a use case with a company called Avery Dennison that is tracking tens of billions of products every single day from point A to Z, from the manufacturer to the delivery to the returns, and everything is put on the blockchain and it's immutable. That's the value of it. So that's the use case, enterprise. I'm just giving you one use case. And these use cases are starting to come out right now. So if you can get people on board with it, there's going to be value. And if you can't, there's no value.
Right.
But we'll leave that on it. But that's all I wanted to say.
No, no, I get it. I get it. I get it. It's just like a speculative like a stock, like Palantir. It's speculative. You don't know. They're not making money right now, but you think they will. You don't like in your example. You don't think no one knows if these rides are going to be popular, but you think they will. Now, the last question, and then we can move on to whatever you want to talk about. Is my understanding, which is really like face value stuff, is that there are certain cryptos like Bitcoin, for example, and Ethereum that they need to be mined. And once all of the Bitcoin is mined, that's it. There's no more. Kind of like gold. Once all the gold in the world is mined, you can't create it in a lab. There will be no more, which is a play on fiat currency because, as the Fed did in during COVID in 2020, they just printed more, and fiat is just basically worthless because you can print an unlimited amount, and you get hyperinflation like Venezuela sometimes. So then and in my opinion, from my very little bit of knowledge about crypto, is that if there's any that are worth anything, it's the ones that are limited. And then you have stuff like Dogecoin, for example, which is an unlimited amount of coin that will always be, produced. And right now, and I'm just making these numbers up. Right now, there's a million. Next year, there'll be 1.5 million. The year after that, there'll be 2.5 million. So would it be intelligent of me to say, or correct of me to say, that the coins that are limited, at least those are the ones that you should be really interested in, because the ones that are unlimited aren't smart to be in long term?
Yes, the thing is, though, almost practically every single cryptocurrency has a limit. Some of them have an inflationary measure, some don't. For example, just to use Dogecoin, for example, maximum supply of Dogecoin is 100 million, and then it has an inflationary measure of 5 million per year. So every year it makes only a maximum of 5 million more. So it's 105 million, 110 million, 115 million. That's it. Or I'm sorry, the inflation measure is 5% or 5 million, so something like that. But yes, the ones that have a hard limit for me are the best. Now, things like Algorand, like Cardano, they have a hard limit. Like that's it. There's not going to be more at all. No inflationary after. And those are the ones that I prefer to invest in. Yes, 100%.
Okay, so
What you're saying.
Algorand by that guy, that
Silvio
mathematician,
McCallie.
yeah, gentleman. So Algorand has a limited amount. It's like once it gets to this, that's it.
Yes,
There's
it
no
has
more.
a
Okay.
correct. It has a limited amount. Um, and the technology, for example, just again, I'm just going to give you quick examples. For me to send you a Bitcoin, the fees, the gas fees, we call them gas fees, which is how much it costs to send something, is astronomical. But for me to send you Algorand or HBAR, what the guy was talking about, like these are, I love those two projects. It's sub 1 penny, and it's always going to be sub 1 penny. I can send you $1 billion tomorrow worth of crypto, one
It's gonna,
penny,
and it's gonna cost
or
1 cent to send it. Got it.
less than 1 cent, less than
Okay,
1 cent.
got it.
But yes, practically free. Now you can see the implications if you are a commercial business. All of a sudden, you could do international wire transferring,
Uh huh.
cross border
Yeah.
for no money, right? So
Yeah.
now your remittances, there you go. Now you understand small use case, just a small, right?
Yeah. 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 Especially when it comes to money,
And
because I know money is hard to like transfer.
sure,
Expensive. Yeah.
on top of that, the speed. So Bitcoin takes hours for it to actually clear the blockchain, but at a minimum 10 minutes. But there's a lag. But let's say 10 minutes. Now, if I'm sending you $100 million, you want to wait 10 minutes? Absolutely not, especially if there's no banks involved, right? However, Algorand and Hedera, 3 seconds. So by the time you pick up your phone, it's there. Immutable. That's it. I cannot fuck you and say, no, I want my money back. There's no such thing. It's immutable. So we do a test transaction to make sure the dollar went through. Yes, Adam, I got it. All good. Okay, here's the main transaction, right? That's it. But you can't change that after. So there can't be like no takebacks. There's no takebacks, which again, if you're doing a business transaction on a higher level, let's talk about business. Forget about Adam and Gabe. Let's talk about a Google and an Amazon, for example, whatever. There's value in that now that you can do it instantly. And now when you have the smart contracts, you can use something called oracles, because now you can say, Adam, well, if I'm selling you this truck, you can pay me in crypto, but I still got to deliver you the truck. How do you know I delivered it to you? How does that interact with the smart contract? There's something called oracles, and an oracle is taking analog information, which means the real world, and confirming information on the blockchain. And there's a million ways to do it, like your technical analysis, it just goes very, very deep. But now you could start seeing the small, uh, the value and the energy use, unlike Bitcoin. To use Algorand or Hedera every single second of every single minute of every single hour for an entire 24-hour period, listen to what I just said. The cost is going to be under $50 for 86,400 transactions. You heard what I just said. Forget about the amount. For 86,400 transactions, whether they're $1 million, less than $50 on either one, and the electric use would be the equivalent of 5 cups of tea. The kettle to heat up the kettle, that's how much it will cost you. 5 cups. That's it. It's pretty dope, bro.
Yeah, it briefs well. It really does, and we're not going to get into it because I can ask 100 questions. But
Sure.
you know, if I wanted to send you, like, if I wanted to send you money today, what I would do is I would send you money through Zelle, or I would send you money through PayPal or
Yep.
Cash App, right?
Yep.
And there are middleman fees because they have to transfer
Yep.
the money. Now you don't have to answer it, but like what you said briefs well, but there has to be a median, or a media, I should say. There has to be a middleman, where my actual dollars, because my actual dollars are 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 something that I have to validate, to put into somewhere where the the H bar or the Algorand knows, okay, Gabe's $1,000 is here. It's boom, and it's held because
I got an
US.
answer. I know
Okay,
exactly what you're asking.
what's the
Okay,
answer?
good. There's two cryptocurrencies out there. One is XRP. You might have heard of them. They're being
Yeah,
sued by the SEC. Good.
yeah.
I'll use them. The same founder of XRP also founded a project called Stellar. What I'm going to say is pretty much interchangeable, but they use different text. So XRP has something called RippleNet. XRP is just the currency, right? Remember how I said you have the chain and then you have the currency. XRP Ledger is the actual chain, but Ripple is a for-profit company that kind of runs everything. And they have a system called RippleNet. And they have some of the largest banks in the world who's part of their system. For example, I believe I think Santander Bank, Bank of America,
Santander.
really big
Yeah.
banks, right?
Yeah.
Um, and MoneyGram, right? Western Union, big. So they have a system. If I'm, how do I do this? You're here. Instead of Adam sending this to Gabe, let's say Gabe is in UK and you do British pounds, and I'm in the US. I want to send you dollars. I send my dollars into the RippleNet. The RippleNet automatically converts to any currency throughout the world because of their banking system, and they have dozens of banks part of it in financial institutions. And you get the same way I just said, instant your fiat. And the intermediary is XRP, but you never know that the XRP is what gave you the trade. So I'm sending you the same way I would in Venmo, but the interaction is done through crypto. But you never realize that. And all you're getting is exactly what you just said in fiat. But the fees again are 1 penny or practically free.
I mean, the fees for Algorand or H bar are 1 penny, but I refuse to believe that Santander Bank or any other bank, Western Union, MoneyGram, would be willing to either harbor the funds, transfer the funds, or whatever for a fraction of a penny. I don't know.
You're correct.
Maybe it's possible, and I just don't really
No,
grasp
you're
it.
correct. You're correct. They have fees. I'm going to be honest with you. They have fees. Um, for example, Shopify is working with a company. The company is built on Hadara, right? The cool rides. They built a ride on H bar, the DLT of H bar, and they're with Shopify. And any transactions that you do through them, it's like same thing like a Venmo, but their own version. And they compare their fees. So yes, there is still a transaction fee that's used, but their fees are like, depending on how much the amount is, 20 to 50% cheaper, even with the conversions and everybody making money, because it's like everybody can take less because the actual physical work is so much less. It's really cool. And I could tell because a
Okay.
lot of people that speak can't explain it and can't have a normal conversation. Because most people that you would talk to would say, to the moon,
Yeah.
like that's the answer to everything. Very few people can actually understand many different chains, many different technologies and stuff. The applicability is there. Whether it's going to be used or not, this I don't know. I am hoping, but yeah, it's cool technology. Not all of them are good. There's only going to be like a dozen of the 5,000 that there are right now that are actually going to make it, in my personal opinion.
Why don't you see if I see lots of things? I don't pay attention. I pay attention
Sure.
to you when you're talking, but go ahead and address your
Okay,
question.
guys, let
You
me
got
see where
lots.
I ended up here. When you have trillions of real assets, you don't have time for thievery and software. Wrong. Many companies can have grow lab.
Can grow gold in
Uh,
a lab. If that's true, I've never heard of that.
they can't. It's not real. Let me tell you guys a quick story. You can make home in laboratory lab diamonds, real diamonds, not cubic zirconium, real diamonds.
Yep.
However, the resale value of those are exactly zero. You cannot resell them because nobody will buy them because they have no value because you just make another one in a lab. As opposed to a real diamond will always have a resale value. Same thing with this fool's gold that you're talking about. Just remember that. There's a big difference.
That's not true, Adam. So lab diamonds, which are exactly the same, they're actually more perfect than natural diamonds, right?
Yep.
That you you can almost not tell the difference. I'm not a jeweler, so I don't know how they can tell the difference, but there's a way. But it's not that they have no value, Adam. It's just that they have, I believe it's like 30% or a little bit more less value.
You're right. When you first buy them, not when you resell them. The same way that the bonds were worthless for SVB right now, similar situation. The Let me take that back. Let me take that back. The Because we're going to confuse people. The lab grown diamonds are 30% value approximately when you buy them, but there is no secondary market for them when you want to sell them.
Okay. So so if you try to resell your lab grown
There
diamond,
you
it's
go.
worth zero. So the only people that can sell lab grown
I'm sure
diamonds
it's
are
worth a few
jewelers.
dollars, but practically nothing. And I spoke to a lot of people in Diamond District
Uh-huh.
about this, and I asked their take on this. This is not me saying this. This is what
Right.
they told me.
Yeah, yeah.
And they're like, nobody realizes that there's no resale value, which I never even thought of. I was with my girl. We were talking about it. He's like, nobody gives a shit because you just go to another place. They'll make you a perfect diamond. It looks great. So yes, I get it. I know the technology, and when you buy it, yes, they're 30 cents on the dollar approximately. When you want to resell it, there's no value. So it's not an asset that'll get you out of shit if you need
Okay.
to, right?
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
I'm not buying anyone a diamond ring anytime soon, so it doesn't matter. But okay, thanks.
Uh Ahmed says that we're boring as F and he's listening to us before he goes to sleep.
Yeah. Like Amit's morning shows wake me up because they're so full of shit. I'm just kidding. I love you, Amit.
um Money in the bank isn't sure. I'm not gonna do this one. Loki forgot I got Gala. Diamonds are not rare. Did you
I
know
never
the
said
concept?
diamonds were rare.
He never said that, right?
And I do know about the De Beers thing, the plot that started in the 50s for a diamond is forever. I know all about it. Yep.
Got it. What else? So I didn't say you guys were boring. Yes, you did. Yes, you did, bro. Like you and your freaking beautiful hair, bro. Don't talk to me, bro. Don't talk to me. I don't want to. You and your Indian hair, bro. And that's not racist. He has gray hair and he's Indian, so I could say that. It's not
He, ha-
just a stereotype.
he has a great beard, is what he has. He has a
He
great
has a
beard.
great beard as well, bro. He has
Yeah.
a great beard. I would like to see how Ahmed's beard and hair is going to be when he hits 40 years old. I want to see. But I think Indian people don't go bald. I've never seen a bald Indian person.
What the flip are you talking? Yes, yes, you have.
They do?
Of
Ahmed,
course.
that happens?
They are not superhuman. On average, every male on this planet has a 50% chance of going bald. 50% chance. What happens is our testosterone turns into something called hydrotestosterone, and it attacks the hair follicle, and that literally you get that gene from your mother's father, and it's as really close to 50%. Don't ask me why I know all this stuff, but hydrotestosterone is what causes baldness, and because it attacks your hair follicle, so you need something that's called a hydrotestosterone blocker like finasteride, etc. But anyway, continue. Sorry.
Got it. All right. So I guess Indian people go bald. Indians go bald. Okay. We got the authority over here. Okay. Okay. Bald. Okay. Very, very good. Tell you that. Congratulations. They're just hiding it under their turbine. That's racist. Cheaps, what's up, my brother? Good to see you. How you doing, bro? Gabe gets hair plugs from Turkey.
What?
Turkey's the shit, bro.
Turkey actually has the number one hair plug technology in the world. Mayweather got hair plugs from Turkey, so I don't know if that was
Yeah,
a joke, but yeah,
no,
legit.
Turkey's great, and they're all so good in Turkey that they just compete with giving you a 5-star vacation. Like that's how they get the competition. Who can give a better 5-star experience? That's how they get you. But yeah, hence why I love him so much. Uh,
Hey, I was right on my short. You loved them. You was like, Gabe, you're crazy. I was like, look, technically it's going down, and it sure fucking did. And I made like more than 3 people some good money that followed me on the hymns short, Adam. So I
I
know you
mean
love
that.
them, but their fundamentals and their technicals were poopy. Just so you
Fair
know.
enough. Fair enough. I'm taking the opportunity to grab more if it goes down. I told people that the price might go down as well. I'm not against that.
Okay,
Um,
here I'm gonna look at hymns while
nah,
you're.
nah, I'm not doing hymns today.
No, I'm gonna
We'll
look at
do it
hymns.
next time.
I'm gonna look.
Um, hey guys, what's up, Eric? Good to see you. I had two of my best trips of my life to Istanbul, Turkey. Great town. Shout out, Cheaps. Do you know the movie Maverick? They based it on Cheaps, basically.
He's
You
not
know,
in
he's
the
a
Air
real.
Force. He looks like he's in the Marine Corps with
He
that
was a
uniform.
Marine Corps, and he actually trains people how to be pilots in the Air Force now. I
Oh,
met
that's
him.
dope.
That's my boy. I met him in Florida.
That's dope.
He's an actual like real pilot, which is dope.
Fixed wing,
Uh huh.
fixed wing. So planes, not
I
helicopters, not rotary
No,
wing.
not helicopters, not helicopters. But he flies paper planes the best. He threw a paper plane. That motherfucker went like for 4 blocks straight. I swear to God, he's the best. Uh, hey Adam, can you make a video explaining how to short and long for newbies? Oh man, bro, that's you. That's Gabe. That's Gabe.
Stocks. I
Yeah,
can show you how to do it with stocks, not with crypto.
yeah. No, he means for stocks. I'm sure he means for stocks.
Yeah.
You're just getting a calls and puts, but can I suggest you guys sign up for Gabe's channel? Let me actually pull it up over here. Guys, sign up for Gabe's channel if you guys want to know how to short and how to long. This is what he talks about. And technicals, this is what he talks about. Not crypto, but
I, I,
stocks.
I've been
He's
really,
great.
I've been really slacking on making videos or even lives. I've been concentrating on um the market, my moves. I had some really deep moves, and my Patreon because they actually pay me, so I have to pay them attention. And so I just
You
run
have
out
a
of.
separate Patreon?
Yeah, well, yeah, I have a Patreon, the one I gave you access to.
Oh,
That's my
and
Patreon. Yeah.
your Patreon is part of the Discord with Tom?
No, my Patreon, because of a partnership I have with Tom, is inside of Tom's Discord. But to get access to my channel within his channel, you have to be part of the Patreon. Does that make
Got it.
sense?
That's interesting. I never even knew
Yeah.
you could get like that
Yeah.
deep. 1 second. Let me give you a link to his channel. All right, guys. This is going to be a link to Gabe's channel.
I do need to up my YouTube game. I need to make more videos and stuff.
Da, da, da. If you want a short or long on crypto, you would have to do it through like a Binance or a KuCoin, and that's not something I do, so I wouldn't be able to help you on that. I'm not the person to talk about that. I don't know it like that, so I'm not that person. Um, hey Adam, any crypto games play to earn? I don't play any games. The last game I played was Tetris. I don't play any games, period. So I wouldn't be able to help you with that either. But if I was to invest in a crypto game, gaming, which I do, I would invest in Gala Gamings. That's personally. Does anybody have any other questions? If not, we're gonna call this quits. Um, I'm peeping Gabe's "I love me" wall behind him.
Yeah, so this is an I love me wall back there of my stuff when I was in the army. But you should
Oh,
see,
you're a military man too. That's
yeah,
why.
23 years, man. Uh if you saw my cheap seats, my coins I have like to my left, I have a lot of coins. It was cool, but thanks for noticing cheap seats. Appreciate it, man.
About 400 worth of it. Okay. Um, guys, we're gonna call this quits. We'll probably do this next week. I'm not sure how or where or when, but this was really, really fun. Join me tomorrow for the CPI and PPI the day after. Um, Gabe, anything you want to say, bro?
No, man, this was fun. If you want to do it regularly on your channel, like I'd love to. And again, if I would love to show you and anyone else who's interested, like the basics of technical analysis, because I think it's a great tool for investors and traders alike. So if you ever want to do that, man, just ask. I will help you, bro. No, no problem.
Guys, we're gonna call this quits. Thank you everybody for joining. Sign up to Gabe's channel, sign up to my channel. If you want to support the channel, $3 channel membership. I'll see you guys later.